They call each other enemies. One calls the other the Great Satan. The other labels Iran the world's biggest sponsor of terror. But behind the fiery speeches, hidden wars, and decades of threats lies a terrifying truth. Both countries are trapped in a conflict neither fully controls anymore. And if this rivalry ever explodes into direct war, the shockwaves could change the entire world overnight. So why is Iran, a nation with millions of people, powerful missiles, and fierce regional influence, still deeply afraid of America? The answer goes far beyond military power. It's rooted in betrayal, humiliation, secret operations, assassinations, revolutions, and a fear that history could repeat itself again. To understand Iran's fear of America, you have to go back to a time when the two countries were actually close allies. In the 1950s, Iran was ruled by Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, a Western-backed monarch who enjoyed strong support from Washington. America saw Iran as a strategic fortress in the Middle East, a country rich in oil and perfectly positioned to counter Soviet influence during the Cold War. But beneath the surface, anger was growing inside Iran. Many Iranians believed their country was being controlled by foreign powers, especially the United States and Britain. Then came the event that changed everything forever. In 1953, Iran's democratically elected Prime Minister, Mohammad Mossadegh, tried to nationalize Iran's oil industry, taking control away from British companies. To many Iranians, he was a hero standing up against foreign exploitation. But to the United States and Britain, he was becoming a dangerous threat. In a secret CIA-backed operation known as Operation Ajax, Mossadegh was overthrown. The Shah returned to power stronger than ever, backed by American intelligence and money. For many Iranians, this was the moment America stopped being a friend and became a manipulator hiding behind diplomacy. The Shah's rule became increasingly brutal. His secret police, Savak, were accused of torture, surveillance, and crushing political opposition. Yet America continued supporting him because he protected Western interests. This created a deep wound inside Iranian society. Millions began to associate America not with freedom, but with dictatorship and humiliation. And eventually, that anger exploded into one of the most dramatic revolutions in modern history. In 1979, the Iranian Revolution completely transformed the country. Crowds filled the streets, protesters burned American flags, the Shah fled Iran, and Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini returned from exile to establish an Islamic republic. Suddenly, one of America's closest allies in the Middle East became one of its most dangerous enemies. But things got even worse when Iranian students stormed the U.S. Embassy in Tehran and took dozens of American diplomats hostage for 444 days. The hostage crisis shocked the world and humiliated the United States on live television. From that moment on, distrust between the two nations became almost permanent. America never forgot the embassy crisis, Iran never forgot the 1953 coup, and both countries began viewing each other through fear, paranoia, and revenge. During the 1980s, tensions escalated even further when Iraq invaded Iran under Saddam Hussein. Iran expected the world to condemn the invasion. Instead, many Iranians believed America quietly supported Iraq because Washington feared Iran's revolutionary government. Hundreds of thousands died during the brutal Iran-Iraq war. Chemical weapons were used, entire cities were destroyed, and Iran emerged from the war deeply isolated, economically weakened, and convinced that America wanted the Islamic Republic destroyed at any cost. But here's where Iran's fear of America becomes truly terrifying. Iran knows exactly what happens to countries that directly challenge the United States.
Leaders across the Middle East watched America invade Iraq in 2003 and remove Saddam Hussein within weeks. They watched Libya collapse after Western intervention. They saw how quickly American military power could cripple entire governments. Iran understood one thing very clearly. No matter how many missiles it builds, it cannot match America in direct conventional warfare.
The United States spends more on defense than the next several countries combined. Its military bases surround the Middle East. American aircraft carriers patrol nearby waters constantly. Stealth bombers, drones, cyber warfare units, satellites, and elite special forces give Washington a level of global reach Iran simply cannot compete with. Iranian leaders know that a full-scale war with America could devastate their economy, military infrastructure, oil facilities, and political system within days. That fear became even more real in January 2020. A U.S. drone strike ordered by President Donald Trump killed General Qasem Soleimani, one of Iran's most powerful military commanders. Soleimani wasn't just a general, he was considered a national hero by many Iranians and the mastermind behind Iran's regional influence. His assassination sent shockwaves across the Middle East. For the Iranian government, it proved something chilling. America could strike deep into Iran's leadership whenever it wanted. No one was untouchable. But military power is only part of the story. Iran is also terrified of America's economic power. For years, crushing sanctions have targeted Iran's banks, oil exports, businesses, and access to international markets. Inflation skyrocketed. The value of Iran's currency collapsed. Ordinary citizens struggled with rising prices, unemployment, and shortages. Even without firing missiles, America managed to place enormous pressure on the Iranian economy. And Tehran knows that Washington's influence over the global financial system gives it a weapon more powerful than bombs. Then there's the nuclear issue, the biggest source of tension today. Iran insists its nuclear program is for peaceful energy purposes. America and its allies fear Iran could eventually develop nuclear weapons. This fear has triggered years of negotiations, threats, cyber attacks, sabotage, and covert operations. Iranian nuclear scientists have been assassinated, facilities have mysteriously exploded, computer viruses like Stuxnet reportedly damaged Iranian systems. Every new development pushes the region closer to a potential catastrophe. But despite all the threats, Iran doesn't simply surrender. Instead, it developed a different strategy. Avoid direct war while building influence through proxies and regional alliances. Groups across the Middle East aligned with Iran allow Tehran to pressure America and its allies without fighting head-on. This creates a dangerous shadow war stretching across Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, and beyond. Iran knows it cannot overpower America directly, so it fights asymmetrically, using strategy, geography, and regional networks to survive. Still, deep inside Iran's leadership is a constant fear that one wrong move could trigger disaster. A missile attack, a naval clash in a Persian Gulf, an Israeli strike, a proxy conflict spiraling out of control. Any small spark could ignite a massive regional war involving the United States. And Iran understands the stakes better than most countries, because it has already witnessed how quickly powerful nations can fall apart under American pressure. What makes this rivalry even more dangerous is that both sides believe they are acting defensively. America says it is protecting global security and preventing nuclear escalation. Iran says it is resisting foreign domination and protecting its sovereignty. Both sides see themselves as victims. Both distrust the other completely. And when fear drives both sides at the same time, the risk of miscalculation becomes incredibly high. But here's the twist most people miss. Iran is afraid of America, yet America is also deeply cautious of Iran. Iran controls critical shipping routes near the Strait of Hormuz, where a large portion of the world's oil passes every day. Iran's missile arsenal can threaten regional bases and allies. Its proxy networks can destabilize multiple countries at once. Even without matching America's military strength, Iran has the ability to create chaos across the Middle East and disrupt the global economy. That's why this conflict never fully ends. Neither side truly trusts peace. Neither side wants total war. Instead, they remain trapped in a cycle of threats, sanctions, cyber attacks, assassinations, negotiations, and retaliation. A modern Cold War hidden beneath headlines and political speeches. And maybe that's the real answer to the question. Iran is afraid of America, not just because America is stronger militarily, but because Iran believes the United States has the power to overthrow governments, crush economies, isolate nations, and reshape entire regions. The fear comes from history, from coups, wars, sanctions, assassinations, and decades of confrontation that never truly stopped. But after more than 40 years of hostility, one terrifying question still remains unanswered. If both countries fear each other this much, how long until fear itself becomes the reason the next war finally begins?